INTJ myths, stereotypes, misconceptions, clichés, and tropes that are inaccurate. INTJs are certainly labeled with stereotypes and misconceptions that have nothing to do with their type. This often comes from a lack of accurate information and simply making assumptions based on what they see on the surface. INTJs are complex people with many layers, as well as the fact that each individual is different. Personality types are not meant to describe an entire group of people and lump them all together. The intent is to understand how people collect information and how they naturally respond to the world around them. This does not describe everything about a person, which is why digging deeper is necessary to really understand someone on a personal level. The INTJ personality type is highly coveted. It's probably second only to the INFJ when it comes to popularity or desirability. That being the case, there are many positive stereotypes surrounding the INTJ. INTJs are emotionless. I imagine most people have seen the memes. The one in particular that comes to mind for me is the coldest human versus warmest robot comparison between the INTJ and the INTP. In many cases, INTJs are either described as or assumed to be cold and emotionless. They are likened to machines, robots, villains, etc. Naturally, they are human, so that cannot be the case. However, going beyond that obvious fact, INTJs that are capable of feeling things very deeply, they just may not want you to realize it. And that is the key. Low feelers tend not to be quick to share any kind of deep emotion with others, and INTJs are no exception to that. INTJs are extremely ambitious. INTJs are known for being future-oriented and visionary. As a result, at one point, ambition became associated with INTJs due to the idea that they focus on a perfect vision for the future. Add the goal-oriented nature, and you have the perfect ambition-geared machine. However, your average everyday INTJ is not likely to be any more ambitious than the next person. They will likely have established goals for their future if they are a responsible person, but those goals don't have to be highly ambitious by objective standards in order to qualify as INTJ goals. INTJs are good at reading people. I think sometimes people assume that all intuitive people are good at reading people, but that's not really true. INTJs aren't naturally going to be geared toward emotions, and thus aren't necessarily going to be good at reading people. I'm not saying that they can't be if they have a particular interest in learning that skill. It's just going to depend on what they deem important and choose to focus on. INTJs are arrogant. Continuing along the same strain of stereotypes, INTJs are oftentimes described as arrogant and mean. Of course, you add the fact that they're always portrayed as a villain in fiction, and this stereotype is just further reinforced. While INTJs certainly can be arrogant, mean, and villainous, as can any type, this will certainly not always be the case. As low feelers, they can come across as arrogant, but the intent is to help because they care. That aside, an INTJ can certainly be rude, but they are typically polite in addition to being extremely generous to those they considered friends. INTJs are brilliant masterminds. Your intelligence is not determined by your personality type. Dumb versions of every type exist. The association between personality type and intelligence is extremely frustrating because it implies that certain types are better than others, while the naming can make it seem like being a thinker has to do with one's ability to think. It certainly does not. Feelers can be just as intelligent as thinkers. It's possible that an INTJ's particular style of thinking when combined with high intelligence may be impressive in appearance. For instance, INTJs can be very mysterious due to the tendency to conceal information and work off information that is not readily apparent. However, not every INTJ is going to possess the necessary intelligence or be capable of the level of strategic thinking required to portray the brilliant mastermind. The reality is that with the relative rarity of highly intelligent people, a majority of INTJs will possess an average level of intelligence just like the rest of the population. On that note, it's also worth adding here that strategy is a skill that any type is capable of learning. INTJs are social. This will vary from person to person. INTJs are likely to retreat into their head a lot since their primary purpose is to take in information. However, that does not speak to their ability to be social or their desire to be social. A healthy individual will desire to connect with others, even if it's only in a limited capacity. Being asocial is typically the result of past trauma or hurt. As thinkers, INTJ may not feel like they need people as much as certain other types do, but many will likely want at least one significant person in their life. Stereotypes only serve to confuse people who are desperately attempting to discover their type or encourage toxic people to continue in their toxic behavior. I'm sure we all know at least one person who uses their personality type as an excuse to act a certain way. We hope that we were able to produce a balanced perspective on the INTJ personality type. Let us know if there are other common stereotypes that we missed. Thank you for watching. We hope you liked this video, and we would appreciate if you subscribe to our channel. We are posting weekly videos about MBTI personality types.